All right, welcome to the Gun News Network. Today we got a special report. Bringing it to you live from Michigan is our correspondent, Smeggy42.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
I think they're doing okay.
Excellent. All right. Well, we got ourselves a lovely article here from hellogiggles.com. I have no idea what that is, but anyways, the title definitely caught my eye earlier today, and it says why the NRA's new murder insurance is so alarming to gun control activists. So I'm sure this will be super fair and balanced and really filled with facts and all that stuff. So it starts out, I'm going to skip this first part. It's like blah, 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 clockwork, bad stuff happens, everyone calls for stuff, then no one votes, well, whatever. All this complaining stuff. But it kicks right in here. The gun lobbyists have been working tirelessly to protect gun owners and their, in quotes, right to bear arms. Like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It doesn't need to be in quotes. We have a right to bear arms. That's how the Constitution works. I love their use of quotes on half this stuff. So basically, they go on there and they start talking about, the NRA putting its weight behind insurance coverage, for people dealing with lawsuits that stem from shooting someone. I'm pretty sure carry guard also has to do with like criminal defense as well, but that can be part of it. I mean, the lawsuit, if you live in a state, there are some states where you don't have to worry about it, but others, you can, even though if you get found, not guilty in court or whatever, you can still get sued by a family member, or if, let's say, you just like injure someone and that stops the attack, that themselves could sue you, all sorts of stuff. So it's one of those things. It's like, you kind of need insurance, and in my opinion, it's a good idea. But the way they phrase it, so in other words, the NRA sponsored insurance policy will provide, again with the quotes, cleanup costs for any covered claim resulting in the use of legally possessed firearms, including the act of self-defense. So they're saying that's a bad thing, that if you have to defend yourself like in your home, that they'll pay someone to put in new carpet or clean it, or clean the walls or whatever. I mean, that kind of makes sense to me, especially when it says from use of a legally possessed firearm. So again, their whole premise is this is murder insurance, like bad guys are going to get it. If you murder someone, then you're not going to be covered by this thing. It's completely ridiculous. And they quote, blah, blah, blah. The Carry Guard sells itself as the most complete self-defense insurance program and training for those who carry a gun. But some are calling it murder insurance. I didn't realize that was a quote. I wonder where that link takes you. Probably some other stupid article. And oh yeah, and this so the move's prompting many to ask, why implement better laws to regulate guns when someone can shoot first and show their murder insurance card later? This stuff just bugs me so much, man. Like this whole like shoot first, ask questions later type of stuff. They seriously think that if you're involved in a self-defense shooting, no matter what happened, like the cops show up and you just go, self-defense. And they say, okay, have a good night. And they like take off. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. There'll be a full investigation, and you may even have, charges brought up against you, and you may not, it all just depends. But a lot of times on the prosecutors and whatnot, but it just, I don't know, their whole mentality is just completely ridiculous. So they talk about the company that, underwrites the insurance company or whatever. This part, at least they're saying what it does. It, covers upfront lawyer fees attached to both civil lawsuits and criminal charges, and pay for bail bonds, legal retainer fees, legal referrals. Pay for replacement of a seized firearm, property restoration, blah blah blah. Oh, loss of earnings and psychological support. That seems pretty good. So, and they just talk about the different types here, and there apparently this person's all pissed off, right? So, offering this type of insurance policy will not make it easier for stand your ground shooters to settle or even win lawsuits they may face, but it could reasonably stand to embolden gun holders to shoot first and think later. I don't think that's at all. I don't think anyone who's involved in a lethal force thing is like, oh, I might shoot, but oh gosh, I don't have insurance to cover it. Like maybe I won't. No, they're going to think, am I going to die or am I not going to die? And then that will be their decision if they pull the trigger or not. So then there's Guns Down America, a bolder, broader movement calling for dramatically fewer guns in America. At least they're honest. I'll give them credit for that. Because all the other gun control, it's sensible gun safety and blah, 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 common sense. And no, these people are like, yeah, we want a lot less guns in America. So I'll give you props for being honest, at least. But they had Trayvon's mother apparently do a video. I'm not watching that video. I don't want to hear that crap. I think they quoted anyways. Yeah, describing anyone needing to purchase insurance as a real problem for their communities and danger to people like her son, who was fatally shot, blah, blah, blah. Armed intimidators roam our communities. They wave their guns like children play dress up, barking threats and upsetting the peace. They insist they should be allowed to bring their guns everywhere, into our schools, our parks, and even our churches. But their guns are not toys, this person says. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. NRA spends millions of dollars to lobbying laws to allow stand your ground. It just makes it easier to get away with murder, crazy lady says. Now they're selling insurance that covers that cost. Come on, dude, get over it. Like, they live in a fantasy world. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, blah, blah, blah. All these people were shot. Every town statistics. There's a bunch of people, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Those numbers are probably all blown out of proportion. Whatever. The reason I call it murder insurance is because if you look at the way this is marketed, it's really sold in the context of there's a threat around every corner. Dear mostly white NRA members. And that threat is either black man or brown man or some other kind of colored person. The Guns Down director person or other says. I don't think that's how it's sold at all. I think it's sold as prosecutors sometimes are out to get you, even if you follow the law and do everything correctly in saving your life or one of your loved ones' lives. And it's going to cost a bunch of money to prove that you were indeed in danger because of the way the law is set up. You still have to, at least in a lot of them, the first part, like if you're trying to get a stand your ground thing before the trial starts, the burden of proof is on you. You have to prove that you are in danger. And then like if they don't grant you stand your ground protection or immunity or whatever it's called, then in court they have to prove, they have the burden of proof. But it's guilty till proven innocent and the first part, like during the hearing, or like I forget exactly what they call it. So the idea that like, oh yeah, this just it's all set up to be able to shoot whoever you want, and bringing the race stuff in, it always bugs me too. It's got nothing to do with that. I'm sure they'd sell Kerry Guard to black people too. It's absolutely no problem. If you're a legal person defending yourself, then you're going to want to have some type of insurance to protect you from the legal costs. Blah, blah, blah. And then they just mentioned a bunch of black people that got shot and killed, and I think that has nothing to do with this. So basically, this group, the Guns Down America, is encouraging people to contact the insurance company, and we fear that your insurance product for gun owners who shoot first and claim self-defense later will contribute to this devastation and encourage more people to use deadly force. Well, here's the thing: if it encourages more people to use deadly force to save their own life, I don't see what the problem is. I mean, I know they're saying it. People are going to use deadly force when it's not warranted. But again, if that's the case, insurance isn't going to matter. Like if the facts come down that you snuck up behind someone and shot him in the back, and then you claim self-defense, like that's not going to work. You can have all the insurance in the world. The laws are set up to take care of you. I don't know. It's okay. We're almost done, so this will be pretty quick here. But I'm an American. It's time to put the guns down. That lady said. Okay, I mean you can put yours down if you want, but I'm not putting mine down. And then blah blah blah. They talk about some other stuff. So I don't know. I don't get it. So again, this whole article, I know it's short, it's dumb, whatever, but it is all predicated on the idea that you can shoot someone, claim self-defense, and you get off scotch-free within like 30 seconds. And if that's the way it works, well, that's news to me.
All right. Well, that was a thrilling and exciting interpretation of that article, I think. Delivered only the way a snowman could give it to you. And just the amount of projection in that article was astounding. Because when I was thinking about it, I was like reading a Huffington Post the other day on the channel, and I said, they got something right, and they're honest, so we got to give them credit. And you did the same for these guys, but I think what it comes down to is these people writing these articles are like children. They're going to be honest sometimes, but they're trying to get one over on you. And that's their mindset. And the amount of projection, like all the stuff they say is going to happen, all the bad stuff that's going to happen. This is stuff that they're worried about they would do.
Oh yeah, that's the same thing when they talk about any type of carry thing, whether it's open carry or if someone goes to shall issue instead of may issue and all that stuff. They talk about like, oh, people are going to kill each other over parking spots and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, put yourself in those shoes. Put a gun in your car at Christmas time and go to the mall. Someone takes your parking spot. Are you the type of person that's going to, in that case, murder someone over the parking spot? Or are you the type of person to go, well, I guess I got to go one row down. Like, I'm going to have to walk a little bit further now. It scares me to think that maybe these liberals are I don't even say that. I'm sorry. I don't like to go left, right. Maybe the anti-freedom, anti-gun people, maybe they would do that. And so if that's the case, I guess I'm glad they don't have a gun because they seem like unstable people.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell by just reading the way they write it. It's pretty obvious. I mean, you don't have the article open anymore, but there was some quotes and points that they in the laws where they were just purely projecting fears that obviously they had based on pure ignorance. And that's that. And how would you rate that article on a scale of 1 to 10 versus real news and propaganda? What would you give that?
Oh, that's I'd give it a 9 on towards the propaganda side.
Well, there you go, guys. There's your unspun propaganda on the murder insurance. And I'd like to thank you, everybody, for joining. Let's go to the comments and see what everybody said during the chat.
G-Webs has a very good point. He was talking about, I think it was when you were talking about, like, people killing each other or whatever, just shooting first, ask questions later, all that. And he's saying, cite any instance of that or anything like it ever happening.
Right. You can't.
They talk, it'll be the Wild West. It'll be blood in the streets. Okay. Name me one time that happened. Name me 2 times it happened. I mean, you can't. It doesn't happen. Time and time again, we have more people with carry permits now than we've ever had before. So theoretically, there are more guns in the streets now than there have ever been before. And instances of shooting are way down. So what does that tell you? It's not happening.
It falls into a point of principles and logic and reason that these people just don't have the capacity to use all at the same time on the subject. They just, it seems like they need something to fight against. So if guns are taken away, it'll be knives, and they'll tell you all the ways knives are dangerous, and knives will kill you. So again, I'd like to thank everybody who joined, and that's it. I'll see you later, guys.